Hey everybody, we just got longer battery time on the GoPro here, so I can do a video right here now with this GoPro that I've been wanting to do for a long time. You know, there's a lot of wonderful motorcycle videos on YouTube, and it's hard to find one that covers all aspects of motorcycle riding. You know, they'll talk about braking, you know, the twisties, they'll show you how to go high speed, but they never show you everything you need to know in one video. So this is my attempt to cover as many things as possible in one motorcycle video. So before we start, here's some things that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about braking, stopping, you know, braking, stopping, using the motor to stop. Acceleration, we'll talk about that. Let's shut this off right now. So I'm going to shut off the phone because when I'm going, I'll get some static. So let's see if we're still recording. Clean the screen here. And what's awesome, we're still recording. So here's some other things we're going to talk about. How to survive. You know, I feel I'm qualified to talk to you about riding safely because I never really crashed. You know, the bike's tipped over like at the gas station when the kickstand's not, you know, fully engaged, you know, when you're a new rider. I've never crashed, never got a ticket on the motorcycle. I have on the car, but not on the motorcycle. So let's get into how to ride, and I'm going to cover all these things: shifting. We're going to take you in first person mode on the freeway in the twisties. So let's get started, okay? And the first thing you want to learn is shifting. Now, this bright greenish yellow little rubber thing here is the shift lever. And what you want to realize is shifting is like going up and down a ladder. The other day I had to fix a ceiling fan in the living room and sync it up with the remote, and it reminded me of shifting, believe it or not. So you know how you climb up the rungs of the ladder, you go up, this is how you shift. And a lot of people are, when they're new, they're like, well, how the heck do you shift? Because there's no gear shift, you know, where you go to first, second, third, fourth, like that, right? And how do you get the darn thing in neutral? So the best way to explain it is first gear is here, and by the way, this is on most bikes. Some bikes are different, but the majority of bikes, first is here. Matter of fact, check this out. I just noticed something. You see this right here? First, neutral, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. They actually put that there. I've never seen that till I've done this video, so I'm even learning something. So notice it says first is here on the bottom, and if you just put your foot like this and tap up from first, just a slight tap, you'll be in neutral. This is the part that confuses people because second is above neutral. So how do you get to second? Well, when you're going at speed and you're in first, you're then going to kick up here. You're going to put your foot like this, kick up, you know, all the way till you feel metal. You'll feel it like your toe, you'll hit something, and it'll stop on second. You can't go from first to third or first to fifth or sixth just by shifting that way. I'll show you. You can pass the gear, but you can't do it if you just ride it normally. They have these safeguards there. So first, neutral, second, third, fourth, and then fifth, sixth. So there's 6 gears. Ran out of fingers here. Now, if you're in second, what's below second? Notice it says second, neutral. So if you're in second, you do a slight tap down, you're in neutral. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to give you a little lesson here. And the first thing that you want to learn are all the gauges. So let's get on real quick. You want to learn all the gauges. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do a quick walk around the bike and show you the gauges. But here's the throttle. Here's the starter. Right here. This is the kill switch. I'm not going to do it, but see how that's like a circle with the X? If I hit that, the battery power disconnects, you know, from the bike. Basically, it's emergency shutdown. If you were to crash, you would hit that because the bike's still running, or if you tip the bike over, immediately hit that right away. you could stop getting engine damage. So throttle here, front brake here. So when you're on the bike, on most Japanese bikes, okay, the braking is on the right. So just remember, braking and going and stopping is on the right. Throttles for going, and then this is the front brake at the front, and then the rear brake's right here. So let's get off and show you that. So the way you apply the rear brake is you put your foot like this is your heel, and you use your toe, or the balls of your feet, so to speak. You're gonna push down like that, and that will make the brake go on. This is where you put oil in. This is the motor, of course. We already talked about throttle, kill switch. Now let's go over to the other side. What's the other side? Well, we already talked about a little shifting. So this is the clutch. So you know how you're in a car and let's say you're in third and you want to go into fourth. What do? You pull the clutch lever in, like in other words, you put your foot down, okay, and you put the clutch lever in on a car, and then you shift into fourth, and then you release the clutch lever. So it's just like a car. I strongly suggest learn to drive a manual car before you ride a motorcycle. It'll be so much easier for you, because if you stall on a manual stick shift car, you're not really going to like fall over. You know, you have four wheels and stuff. So let me show you something else here that you should get. I have these little sponge earplugs in. They look flat now because I squished them under the magnet here, but you roll them in your fingers and they go in your ears, and I could hear everything, but it's muffled where I could hear emergency vehicles, I could hear things like that, but it makes the ride so much more enjoyable. I could hear the motor of the motorcycle. You know, it just makes it so much more enjoyable. This is a Joe Rocket magnetic tank bag. This thing has these giant magnets here, 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 and here. Very thick, strong magnets. I strongly suggest get a Joe Rocket tank bag because they tend to hold, look at that, much better than any tank bag that I've had. So you go to a parking lot like this, and this is where you practice. Make sure there's not as many people around. Now let's go through this. Here's the key right here. We're sporting the Akropovic or Akropovic, depending how you want to pronounce it, exhaust. We have the speedometer here, and this little thing bouncing up and down here. Look, that's the tach. And we have over here the left turn signal light. See kind of over here how it's turning, and then the right turn signal light right there. You push in to stop it. This is the horn. These are the brights. You flip them on, see how the blue light's on there. So the brights are on. We also have like a backpack on. I'm not going to show you that, but we have a backpack on. If you're going to have a passenger, you're going to put your feet here. The passenger pegs will be here, and they're going to sit there. Okay, so here we go. Always make sure that the kickstand is up. You just get your heel. So we're going to go out onto the freeway and the roads, but first we're going to go from beginner to intermediate to advanced. I strongly suggest you save this video to your favorites. You're going to love it. I'm going to cover every single thing I possibly can. And one little disclosure, I do suggest you also don't rely on this video only, but attend the MSF class, Motorcycle Safety Foundation class. Look that up on Google. They let you ride, low-powered motorcycles to let you learn. Now, if you can ride this bike, you could ride anything. This is a Z1000, as you guys in the UK say, a Kawasaki Z1000. This thing is awesome. What I did is I got the zero-gravity windscreen here, and you see how it makes it look just totally sweet. Very, very high-powered. So kickstand up. Now, what you're going to do when you're new, pull the clutch lever in, kick down, watch here, 1, 2, 3, wait a minute, see the neutral light? Watch what happens when I kick down, 1, 2, 3, it's off, we're in gear. I still have the clutch lever pulled in. Now watch what happens. We're slowly going to release the clutch lever. You're going to do this so you learn how to find that friction zone. You want to find where your bike catches. So you're not going to release it all the way. Slowly release it. Now watch. See how we're moving? Pull it back in before you stall. Do that a bunch of times and then practice going into neutral. So we're in first. So where's neutral? You remember? Right here. Here's first, my pinky. Neutral is here. Watch this. Slight tap up. We're in neutral. Now, if I were to kick all the way up, it would be in second. So now we're going to go back into first. Keep both feet, like see how this leg's out and that leg's out. Slowly let the clutch out while giving it some throttle. Let the clutch all the way out. Notice clutch is all the way out. You want to go to a parking lot that's not this crowded. So we're in first now. Okay, totally in first. You want to go too slow because you'll stall it. So just kind of go in first like this for a while, and then you're going to practice braking. Now, we're going to talk about some myths of riding. People say, oh my gosh, it's so dangerous. Well, there are some things you can do to reduce the chances of crashing. Your biggest thing is this right here, the clutch lever. This will get you out of a lot of trouble. So let's say something happens, I gotta stop. I will pull this back. I'm still in gear, right? And I'll slowly, squeeze the front brake, keep the handlebar straight. Notice both feet go down, and now I'm in first still, but notice it's almost like it's neutral because it's disengaged. So let the clutch out again. Watch this. This is what you're going to practice stopping. Okay, you're just going to stay in first. Watch this. Clutch lever in. Slowly squeezing the front brake. Get both of your feet down. Now, always keep the handlebar straight. Let's go this way. When you're stopping. Two biggest reasons why people crash is they're going around a corner and they put the front brake on, and then you tip the bike over. You don't want to, for the most part, brake while you're going around a corner. There's almost no reason for that. You want to go around the corner at a safe speed. A lot of bikers get in trouble because they go into the corner so fast and then they can't brake going through the corner and they're going to crash. So we're going to go out on the road and we're going to talk about braking, but first let's show you. Watch this. First, now watch, I'm going to go into second. Well, I'll go into second. Yeah, I can do it. First, I'm going to release the throttle, clutch lever in, kick up to second, release the clutch lever, I'm in second. Now watch this. Clutch lever in, a slight tap down from second, remember the ladder, goes into neutral. You don't want to be going into second when you're going real slow. Okay, now I'm back into first. You don't want to be bogging down the motor. Okay? You don't want that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to... Thank you, brother. Watch this. First, we're going to show you how to brake. Remember, the clutch will save you a lot of times. Don't brake while you're in gear and without holding the clutch in because you'll stall. So watch. Clutch lever in, front brake and rear brake applied just so lightly, and now my feet are down. I still have the clutch lever in. You're going to be spending most of your time in first, neutral, second, like on the roads, so you want to practice that. So now I'm going to close the visor. When you feel you're ready for it, you're going to, now watch, I'm going to put it in neutral because we're sitting here for a while. If you're going to be sitting for a while, put it in neutral so if someone comes up behind you and bumps you, you don't fall off the bike and your bike just keeps going. Watch this. Clutch lever in. Go through it with me. Kick down. We're now in first, but the clutch lever's still in. Slowly letting the clutch lever out. You know, when you're new, we'll do some fast ones later, but when you're new. Now watch. We're going to go into second. You always release the throttle before pulling in the clutch. Release throttle, pull in the clutch, kick up to second, then you release the clutch lever. So the clutch lever remains squeezed in while you're going through the gearing sequence. Now watch, we're in second. What would you do here? Well, a slight tap down. Watch, clutch in, slight tap down. We're in neutral, and I'm applying front brake and rear brake. When you're braking, you don't just pull the brake back real hard, okay? You squeeze it as if you were slowly squeezing an orange, okay? Now, as you get better, you'll be able to, we're gonna get on the freeway now, I'll show you freeway riding. You'll be able to brake fast and do all these other things, but we're still in beginning stages. So we're in second, watch this. Clutch, we're gonna release the throttle, clutch lever in, kick up, release the clutch lever, roll back on the throttle, and now we have this here. So watch, kick down to second, watch a slight kick down to neutral. When you're new, you will want to make a point to remember the gears that you're in. After a while, it gets into your subconscious mind. So first, right, release throttle, clutch lever in, kick up to second. Now I release the clutch lever. We're going to do the same thing for third. Release throttle, clutch lever in, kick up to third, release throttle, clutch lever in, kick up to third, release clutch lever, roll back on. We can do it a lot faster, but for demonstration purposes, I'm showing you kind of slow. So now we're in third. See, you're getting faster and faster and faster. Now, what I'll do here, I'll go down to second, I'm braking, and now I'll go down to neutral. And now I'll go down to first, because it looks like I'm going to be able to go here. Freeway is easy. We're going to talk about what type of motorcycle you should get. We'll talk about that, as a matter of fact, while we're on the freeway. We'll watch second. Now we'll get on it. Clutch lever in. You know, I release the throttle, clutch lever in. I'm in third, trying to catch this light. Now see how it's starting to bog down because they're going slow? Watch this. I'll downshift, release throttle, downshift to clutch lever in, downshift to second, release clutch lever. Always the same thing. Is this it? No. It's always the same thing. Release throttle, clutch lever in, go into the gear you want, then release the clutch lever. Always the same thing. You never shift gears while you're rolling on the throttle. Okay, so we're in second, right? Now watch this. Just kind of keeping some throttle going through it. Now we're going to get on it, okay? So watch the tack. I'll shift it like, you know, 5,000. Third. I'm not going to go through the throttle and all that. You know what I'm doing. Watch. Fourth. See how fast we do it? So release throttle, clutch lever in, click up to fifth. Watch how fast we do that. When I say one, I'm going to do it. One. We're already there. Now we're in fifth, right? Sixth. Now, you notice freeway's easy. Just stay away from people. Let's talk about your right mindset that you want to be in. You don't want to be in the mindset where you say, I have the right of way, so I'm going. All those rules that you're right and you're in the right go out the table when you're on a motorcycle. Just pretend you're invisible and you will somewhat be safe. Now, we're going to talk about cleaning the lens again because I see some bugs. We're going to talk about getting off the freeway. Now watch this. I'm not going to brake. Watch how smooth we do this, okay? We're talking about riding safely. So I'm in sixth. I'm approaching a corner to the right. I'm not going to hug the corner over here, okay? What I'm going to do now, I'm going to downshift to fifth. It says, you know, 30, it says 54 right here on the speedometer. they usually make it where you got to be going slower than actuality. Now watch. I'm giving it a little bit of throttle through the whole thing. No braking. Did I brake? No. Now see how it's turning red there on the other side? So that tells us that we should have the green. This light always tries to get me. Awesome. We made it. So braking, you're gonna remember, keep the handlebar straight. This is, talk about some reason why people crash. They come to a stop with the handlebar crooked, and you're gonna go down if you do that, because there's a lot of weight, you know, to the motorcycle. So keep the handlebar straight. There's a lot of weight on those little two tires, and when that front tire is like that, you're gonna get the motorcycle off balance. So now what I want to do is I want to show you counter steering. So I'm going to let these people pass, and because I want to do this at a fast clip of speed. So we're going to pull over here. Okay. Let's talk about counter steering just a few moments before we go. No one's behind us. You must get to know counter steering. You must learn how to do it. You ever see these videos, and I'm going to put some YouTube channels where you could see some motorcycle crashes right below this video. Watch those videos. You could learn from them. They'll be going around a corner, and they're not really going that fast, and they're going around a corner, and they crash. Why couldn't they make the corner? Newer motorcycle riders will lean a lot. They will never implement counter steering. So we're going to show you how to practice counter steering when you're driving, and here we go, because this is the last car. I want to make sure these cars get ahead of us. Let them go, because I'm going to hit this at a really good clip. Let's see. Okay, awesome. So we're going to go into gear. Those cars are way up there, but I'll catch up real fast. So I want to show you counter steering. When you get like around 45-50 miles per hour, this is what I want you to try. Very lightly on the handlebars. Watch this. I'm going to pull back on the right handlebar and watch what happens. On 2. 1, 2. We're going to the left, aren't we? If I pull back towards me on the left handlebar, we go to the right. This is what counter steering is. At higher speeds, if I have a corner like the one we have coming up, going to the left, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull towards me on the right handlebar, towards my body, and that's going to shift the motorcycle into a more positive position for me to make the corner. I hope this guy on the left goes, because I hope, oh darn it, I got the green. Okay. Wait a minute. We lucked out. This guy's turning around. So here's the corner coming up. So good. I'm going to hit it at 50 miles per hour, which is a good clip. Corner's coming up to the left. I'm not going to lean like around the corner. If I lean and that corner, I'm hitting it too fast, and I'm going like, I can't lean it so much, I'm going to go into the ditch and crash the bike. So here we go. Let's attack it. We got the corner coming up on the left in about 10 seconds. I'm going to slightly pull back on the right and hold it, just a little bit of pressure, even while I'm slightly pushing forward on the left. Forward on the left, slightly back on the right. Okay, watch this. Gone up to 6. Okay, watch this line right here. On 3, I'm going to pull back on the right. 1, 2, 3. Even slightly pushing forward on the left. Now I have a corner to the right. I'm going to slightly pull back on the left, slightly push forward on the right. Get some speed here. Now, see how it moves it? How you doing, buddy? Wants me to give him the peace sign while we're doing this. Okay, I'm up in 6. You don't sense it, but we're going up a steep hill now. We're going to go to the right. I'm going to pull back on the left on 2. 1, 2. Look at that. See how it leans it? A lot of people freak out because as I'm pulling back on the left, now look, I'm going to pull back on the right now. They freak out because it seems counterintuitive. Pulling back on the left handlebar now, slightly pushing forward on the right. And I'm sort of just manipulating, shifting the weight of the motorcycle. Pulling back on the right there. You must understand counter steering or you're going to crash, I'm telling you. You're going to think, well, I could lean it, but you're going to hit a corner, you're like, oh my gosh, and you're not going to, like this one here, look, I could lean this one. And this one you can kind of lean because I'll just go inside, outside. But this one I'll do counter steering on 2. 1, 2. See how I do that? You must learn counter steering, guys. We love you. We want you to have a fun time. We want you to, ride safe. But, when you get a motorcycle, there's certain things you have to learn. Shifting, braking, counter steering, I would say are the top 3 things. Because, of course, you need to know how to get the bike going and keep it going safely. And then, of course, you need to know how to bring it to a stop, and of course you need to know how to go around corners. Those are the main things. Now, we're in 6th gear. You're not going to do what amateurs do, where they just start shifting down and they go into neutral while they're moving like 50 miles an hour. You're not going to do that. Notice I'm in 6th, I'm going down to 5th, going down to 4th. No one's behind me. I'm not even using the brakes. Going down to 3rd. Now we have some sharp counter steering. Watch. Now I'm going to go down to 2nd in neutral. Keep the handlebar straight when you come to a stop. Okay. We're going to talk about what type of motorcycles you should get. Go ahead, brother. Want to go? Okay. I'm going. If you're going in an area like this, the twisties, we have some good counter steering up here. You want to, like a little light bike, you don't have to. This bike is so overpowered for this. Now watch this. We do have counter steering here. We're going to go to the right. So what are you going to do? I'm going to slightly push forward on the right and pull towards me on the left. Just slightly on 2. 1, 2. Here you can lean it a little. Now another thing they tell you to do is watch the corner which way it's going. So you're planning what you're going to do. Watch how the corner's turning way up ahead of you. And you keep watching. See, I'm looking around the corner like which way is it going to keep going or keep going, and then it straightens out. So you can kind of plan it. So watch how we come to a stop here. We're going pretty quick. First stage is I start coasting. Second stage, I'll start downshifting. A lot of motorcycles have engine braking, where if you just take your hand off the throttle, you'll feel the motor start to stop, like that engine's really tight. And that's how this one is. So, and I like it that way because I feel like I feel the motorcycle better. So we didn't put our foot down on that. You'll get pretty good where you can just stop and then go. So let's go through the gears. We're in 2nd. You want to go into 3rd. Release throttle, clutch lever in, kick up to 3rd, then you release the clutch lever, roll back on. Okay, we got some very strong counter steering here. Here's one to the right. On 2, we're going to do it. Push forward on the right. Oh, wait a minute. That one's pretty easy. Here's the one right here. You could tell because we're going like 45, 50, and it says 35. This is definitely one you need to counter steer. Pull back on the right, push forward on the left on 2. 1, 2. And I'm going to lean into that also. That was definitely a counter steering one. The gradual corners, you'll get away with leaning. The corners that go like that, you're not going to lean through them. Now, this is Dead Man's Curve over here. I'm going to show you. Motorcycle riders that haven't been here always crash, not always, but this is the area they crash the most on this curve I'm going to show you because it sneaks up on you. After the stop sign, I believe, yeah. Okay, watch, stop sign. Coasting, downshifting, look at the tach, it's at 3,500 RPMs. Starting to brake, downshifting, downshifting. Now I'm in neutral, I'm in first, and then we go. Okay, so here's Dead Man's Curve. See how it's the second curve right here. See that sign where it says 30 right here? Let's hit it. It's a very easy corner, but the guys fly through here, and it's not this one, the second one, watch. Definitely counter steering here, upshifting. It's this one here. You really, really got to pull back on the right on that one. And I didn't hit it like really fast, but imagine if you hit that really fast, you'd even have to do some more counter steering. What type of motorcycle should you get? You'll hear people say, start off on a 250. Oh, I hate that. Well, maybe in the old days you could start off on a 250 because that was like all they really had as beginner bikes. They would have 250 and then it'd go up to like, you know, 600. But now you have wonderful bikes to start off on, like the Ninja 300. They have a Ninja 400. And these bikes look awesome. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're riding with other guys that have bikes like mine, or even like this bike, you guys, is 1,000. It's actually a 1,043 cc motor. So you could like do a wheelie, you know, so easy on this thing. It just has massive torque. But if you're out riding with your motorcycle buddies and they all have 600s or higher and you're on a 250 or 300, sometimes 400, you're going to be hating life because it's hard for you to keep up with them. But if you live in an area like this where it's just these little twisties, hey, a 300 or 400 is absolutely fine. Now, there's railroad tracks here, and I don't like going over the railroad tracks real fast because it messes up the motorcycle. It just shakes it to death. So I'm going to downshift and go as slow as I can because there's a car behind me. If you're going to be going in windy areas, get a heavy bike. There's a bike, it's like a sport tour bike called Katana. Very inexpensive, heavy, but it's got smooth lines and everything. It looks cool. And that's a great bike to get for windy areas. Now, let me tell you about more bikes, but first, counter steering. Here we go. Okay, watch this. There's counter steering here. Pull back on the right on 2. 1, 2. Now we have one here where it's very, very strong. A lot of guys crash here too. Pull back on the left and push forward on the right, right here. That one. That's a good counter steering one. You're just basically manipulating like this. You're manipulating, you know, the motorcycle. Now, you're about to see the slowest corner in world history. Not this one. This other corner right here, there's always some type of sewage. This corner right here. This is the slowest corner in world history. 15 miles per hour. It's like this and like that, like an upside down L. So I'll go like this from the outside and then I just pull it on the inside. There's always gravel right there too to further your enjoyment. Okay, so
If you are going to be going on freeways, you're going to want a windscreen. I'm just telling you, you're going to be hating life. We're going to go back now. We're going to do this at a more advanced... Well, actually, wait a minute. I know there's some more twisties up here if you want to stay with me. But you are going to be hating life if you don't have a windscreen. I'm just telling you, if you're going on little side roads, and I'm all the way down to First. See? If you're going on little side roads and everything, fine. But you start hitting the freeways, then you're going to have an issue. So now we're on longer stretches of road, so we'll show you how this works. Downshift. Got to downshift again. You're going to be listening more than you're going to be looking at your dashboard. Okay? Listen. What I'll do when I'm just casually cruising like right now, and then we're going to be getting into some more twisties. You're absolutely going to love the next place I take you. What I'll do is I'll shift at 5,000 RPMs. Now, I'm in California where there's a thing called lane splitting, which is this, where you're allowed to go to the front of the line like this in the middle. So now notice second, third, fourth. You get this 250 or 300 and you're going to have to be like, you know, full throttling it at the light. And you'll have some people that are kind of rude. They'll be like, you know, right when you're taking out the light, they're not, those bikes aren't that fast off the light, you know, so you're going to be like having some people behind you that are really rude. I had a 250 one time, a Ninja. All right, we got the green. And people were so rude. I remember I was on the freeway, and out here they'll go 85, 90, you know, on the freeway, which I love that now because I have this bike. But, you know, that's like top speed of these, you know, it was like a 2003 Ninja. You know, and so you're not really going to be enjoying life. I'm just telling you, I've never heard someone say, I regret getting this high-powered motorcycle. But you always hear people saying, oh man, I wish I had a 600 or whatever. Can I tell you something about, you know, the motorcycles? I wouldn't say it's the power that concerns me with new riders, but it's the weight of the motorcycle. I had a 250 and I went up to a 600, and you know, everyone's like, oh no, you're a new rider, you gotta get a 250. But so when I talked to this guy that sold me the 600, he explained it really well. He goes, yeah, it'll be faster, the 600 will be faster off the front end, but where you're really going to notice it is on the top end. Like when you're on the freeway, it's the tachometer's not screaming like a stuck pig. Like, wee, you know, it'll have more top end power. So if you're going to be getting a motorcycle for the freeways, I'm just telling you, at least a 600. At least. There's people on YouTube that started with ZX14s, I kid you not, and Busas. They're very responsible people, but they started on those motorcycles. And those motorcycles are like insanely fast. I don't recommend that, but how were they able to do it? You're just very, very cautious. So if you're going to be riding, you know, freeways, I would say, just my humble opinion, at least a 600. At least. Because you're going to get there on a 250, 300, or even 400. Man, you're going to feel like you walked there. right, we're gonna split right here. I had a Katana. I'll put the video below here. I sold it, but I had a Suzuki Katana, and the guy I sold it to goes, "Hey, I went 140 miles per hour all the way to LA." Oh my gosh, all the way to Los Angeles. Those Katanas are cheap. Like if you want to get a motorcycle that's lower to the ground, like you'll find that one's pretty low to the ground. This one's very tall. I had an R1, and when I went to sell that, a couple of guys came and they were like on their tippy toes, like they couldn't even put both of their tippy toes down. I had this Asian guy come, and he looked at it and he liked it, right? And I go, "Well, why don't you get on it?" Like he was ready to buy it, right? And I ended up selling it, not to him, but to someone else. But he was getting on the motorcycle and he couldn't even put both of his tippy toes down. So you're going to want to get a bike where you feel comfortable. The Katana's a great bike as far as if you're in a very, very windy areas. If you are in windy areas, what they tell you to do when and we're all going to be in certain winds sometimes, okay? But when the wind comes, if I got a strong gust of wind coming to the side, what happens, your automatic reaction is to grab with a death grip the handlebars, because your motorcycle will go like to the left lane or to the right lane. It's dangerous. So what they tell you to do is, no, maintain your speed, okay? I'm in neutral, okay, but maintain your speed, and because as the wind blows, that keeps you pushing and punching through the wind. But maintain your speed and have a light grip. Like, see how my hand just very light on the handlebars. So when the wind hits you, your arms are like shock absorbers. They're not moving the handlebars around that much, because you don't want to end up here. This is a cemetery. Okay, so we have our next twisties coming. Get good gear. This right here, if you look closely, see how there's these little holes? It's like a mesh jacket, so the wind actually blows through it. And then there's another liner, it's like plastic, so it like keeps in the heat, And here's where we're going left, guys. There's another liner that goes inside that basically traps the heat. So here we're going to get the pole position again, and I'll be able to get in front of this. I think this is a Toyota 4Runner. Do loud pipes save lives? Well, I've been in a car before where people with loud pipes are, coming up next to me, and you do hear it, right? So I think in some ways it does, in some ways it doesn't. If someone's next to you, if there's a guy on a motorcycle next to you, right, and he's got loud pipes, and you're on the freeway, and let's say you're going about 60 miles per hour. By the way, we have some really strong counter steering here. We're going to get in front of this dude. Second. Go. Third. So if someone's, well, let me take this first and I'll tell you. If someone's next to you on the freeway with these loud pipes, and you're kind of like riding next to them, of course you're going to hear it. But if they're flying up behind you really fast, you're not really going to hear it. It's like the sound doesn't go in front of the motorcycle. It sort of goes along with it. So I noticed if I have my radio loud and someone has loud pipes, I can't hear them. But anything you can do to increase your chances of being seen and heard, I'm all for that. I remember one time we were on a motorcycle group ride, and this lady had all these reflective stickers, like 30 reflective stickers all over her gear, like overkill. But you can see her. Now, another thing too, whoa, I just got airborne there on that. That was fun. Another thing too is if you can see my helmet, I'm going to put the mirror up by my helmet here. Notice there's a dark shield right here. And there's a lever over here where I can pull the lever and the dark shield will retract away from my eyes and up into the upper area of the helmet. You want to get a helmet that has a built-in windscreen, because you see how it's real sunny right here? I can drop down that windscreen, and then sometimes you'll be going long distance, like let's say you go to the beach or you're going, you know, really far, and now it's nighttime. So if you have a mirrored dark tint helmet of you know, shield, you're gonna have to unsnap it. Some guys will get two shields and they'll unsnap it and they'll snap it back on the helmet, but it's a pain and you got to carry that with you. And I like the idea that I could just flip a lever and the dark shield comes down, flip another lever and it goes back up. Now I have a Scorpion, let's see if I can show you, EXO helmet. Now on the right side right here, hold on, I gotta take this corner. It says pump, P-U-M-P. You can see that. What that is when you get a helmet, there's sometimes a lot of wind noise even with the earplugs. Some helmets just aren't good. The Scorpion EXO helmet has this little, let's see if I get back further, show you, this little pump image, but it's right here under my chin. And it's like a round bulb, like almost like the doctors have that blood pressure thing where they pump it. And you basically pump this thing on your chin and it conforms to your jawbone, your cheeks, and all around your ears, and it makes it where no wind can get in there. I have very good silence within this helmet. The microphone, I'll show you my GoPro setup also, but the microphone is up against my lips. It's a sponge microphone. And there's air underneath the helmet, but you notice how the audio of the microphone is very good. And I attribute this to the Scorpion helmet. And then I have on the left side of the helmet, let's see if I can show you, there's this stereo adapter for the microphone. So I have the stereo adapter where if you ever play my videos, these videos on your TV, you'll notice they're in epic stereo, because the stereo adapter right here, I have it velcroed plus sort of like what are those called, those plastic zip ties, also zip tying it secure. I also have a cable tied to the GoPro because you don't want to have the GoPro fall off your helmet and you lose it. So you learn about counter steering, you learn about, you know, throttling. You always want to be matching the revs. So for example, right now it says 50 miles per hour. We're at 3,500 RPMs. I don't want that puppy to drop like below 3,000. It starts bogging down the motorcycle. It's bad for the motor. You could also get in trouble where you need power, but you can't move because you've got the motor bogged down. Excuse me. So you always want to keep that motor tight. Notice I'm always keeping it above 3,000 RPMs, unless of course I'm coming to a stop. If you're going to get a motorcycle also, this is just a suggestion. This motorcycle, I'm not sitting straight up. I'm going to tell you why that's not good in my opinion. And I'm not raked forward like this. Some motorcycles, depending on, I'm a taller person, but let's say you're like, shorter, you're going to find that some motorcycles, if you're short, you're going to be leaning forward with your arms like stretched out and everything, and a lot of weight on your wrist, and it's not really comfortable unless you're going fast like on the freeway. So I like this motorcycle because I'm slightly leaned forward, just slightly. That's good for your back. It has flex to the back. Now watch this. Your back flexes. I'm downshifting. I'm not going to stop. You can always tell an amateur because they stop before they get to the the light. I mean, I can understand if you're going through the twisties, that's the proper way to do it. You want to stop before you go to a corner. But when we're just coming up to a traffic light to go right, all you got to do is just slow down and you can keep going through it. But I don't like the motorcycles that you're sitting straight up. Your back will kill you because your vertebrae is bouncing up and down and up and down. Everyone's looking because there's like a fire here. See the smoke? And there's also this dude's like putting along. So we're going up a very steep hill here. Beautiful day. So you would do yourself a favor to find a bike where you're slightly leaned forward. I also love what's called the zero gravity windscreen. This isn't product placement. I don't get anything for telling you guys about it. But the zero gravity windscreen, you can't see it, but it goes like this, and then it's curved. Like it goes, how do I show you? Like this. Let's say I'm over here, right, on the right, sitting. The windscreen kind of goes like that. I'm kind of accentuating the curve more, but it kind of goes like this and then curves up. So the wind is really pushed over my head. If you haven't attended Motorcycle Safety Foundation, type in, we're going to downshift here because, no, we're going okay. But notice I'm at 3,000 RPMs because this guy in this truck up here is really going slow. I went to Motorcycle Safety Foundation, and basically what it is, they have these little bikes, like all 250 bikes. They'll have like the Honda Rebel, the Ninja 250. They'll have all these bikes, very little, different sizes in case you're a tall person. They'll have a bike that, fits you, and if you're a short person, they'll have a bike that fits you. And you sign up for this class, and in every state that I know of, it enables you to bypass the driving test at DMV. I never took a DMV driving test for the motorcycle. What I did is I went to MSF course, and then they teach you, they have these cones they put out and everything. They teach you braking, stopping, how to like move around a hazard and stuff like that. They teach you all these things. And then you take a written test, which is easy, everyone passes it. Then you take a driving test. And when you take this driving test, the same people that taught you are the same people that give you the test. And even if you fail it, you could take it again. So I strongly suggest MSF class. It is great. You get to sit on the motorcycle. If you crash it, it's not a big deal. If you drop it, it's not a big deal. When we went to MSF class, everybody passed, and there were like probably 30-40% female, but one girl did not pass. And she didn't pass, I think, because she just refused to listen to what the instructor said. Like the instructor would say, okay, start squeezing your brake now. Get your foot ready to come down. And she would just too scared to do it. Like she just would not do it. So I'm going to put some links of some motorcycle crashes below and some other motorcycles that I've actually reviewed, and also the review of the Kawasaki Z1000 that I'm driving. It's an awesome motorcycle. It's my favorite motorcycle that I've ever had. God bless you guys, and have a great week. I'm seeing if I can pass this dude.